Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Right, good morning, arise and shine. Thank you for joining us again on this program, Morning Spring, where we talk about very important issues. Femi Ojo is my name, and it gives us great pleasure to know that you're always here with us on Western Spring Television, channel 190 DTT, on Star Times, and also on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. It's a bumper package. We apologize that we couldn't, come to you yesterday, but then you have nothing to miss. We'll try and make it up this morning. Once again, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi. Welcome on board, people. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, and as you all know, it is my best day of the week. I welcome you to another super edition. Right here, we'll talk about meaningful conversation. We have meaningful conversation with people that matter, so you can have a better understanding about issues affecting our country, Nigeria, and even other countries of the world. Welcome on board. This is Evelyn, Ohiolei, and you're right on Morning Spring for today.
Right, Morning Spring it is, where we, do all we do. On the program, we look into the papers, checking the headlines, as we have in our major dailies each day. And today, we're going to do that again. And at the other side of that, we then get talking about these issues from national to, also about the subnationals as well. A quick one, because we are really going to be fast because we have a lot to cover this morning. Yesterday, by the way, the dust is here to settle in the Abdul Ningi, budget pardon allegation against the Senate, the suspension of Ningi himself from the Senate for 3 months. And yesterday we heard a former military man and, of course, a relative of the former lead president, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Senator Yar'Adua, has been, made the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum. It is what it is. Life must continue. Ningi was from Bauchi. He is from Bauchi, rather. Yar'Adua is from Katsina, if I'm not, mistaken. It is what it is. And we also learned the Olubadan of Ibadan has passed on to be with his ancestors. These are the issues.
And this is coming just 2 years, barely 2 years after he ascended the throne of his fathers. Remember that in the month of March, in the year 2022, the late Olubadan of Ibadan, Lekan Balogun, got that staff of office as the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan. But today is no more, and of course we commiserate with, we condole, we condole with the people of Ibadan land for this great loss. It's a huge loss. Is the monarch of Ibadan, the capital city of your state.
That's right, and this is official because it was made public by the state governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, who is saddled with that responsibility because we're talking about a first-class Oba here, we, just like my colleague said, legacy is what is remaining of everybody right now. Very influential, King, by the way, 2 years after, it is what it is. And finally, before we leave there, I saw a video yesterday, Evelyn, of an event, I'm not sure where it happened now, but of the president, Bola Tinubu, where he was speaking to governors, many governors. Was at an event, and he was urging them to, make sure they pay salaries, make sure they pay the wages. He said he has been paid, and so the governors must do better. In fact, he called out Sanwo-Olu and he said, Lagos governor, are you paying? He said, you are beating your chest, meaning you are paid. And then he called on Abdurrahman, that's the Governors Forum chairman, to say, I think APC Governors Forum Chairman to say, please, you guys should pay. If I'm doing it right there in Abuja, you too should pay so that life will be better for the people. And he spoke about it for 3 minutes, and he was categorical to say, state governors, don't, you know, be making this wheel of progress, you know, to go slow and make life difficult for your people. I am trying. You too should try.
All right, it's given the vibe of headmaster and his teachers. I mean, the headmaster talking to his teachers.
Yeah.
Have you done what you're supposed to do? Have you marked your students' assignment? Have you given them assignment? I mean, these are what the governors should know they should do. You know, they don't have to be called upon by the president before they are doing or before they do what they are supposed to do. And these are the issues, really. If we have a good federal state, of course, the people will hold their governor accountable. They will be able to say, Mr. Governor, this and this is what you ought to be doing at this time. But if the center is not talking, it seems as if the voice of the people is more or less, you know, not heard. But of course, what Mr. President is saying is true. The governors must.
I completely agree with him.
Yeah,
because many of those governors, you know, is from one excuse to the other.
Yeah.
Now that the allocation that they get every month has even increased. Many of them, you are not even hearing one PIM, you know what we call PIM around here. Not like you are telling your people to say, okay, we have an increase now. People are just finding out. And then the wages, some of these things are given to you to do the needful, that extra. And that's what the president was talking about. By the way, he can't force them. He said, I'm urging you because there's separation of power. So we're talking about Federal Republic of Nigeria. But, you know, we have many things to really talk about today. We'll go on this break. When we'll come back, we head straight toward the papers. I'll say, it's Morning Spring on Western Spring Television with Femi and Evelyn. Stay with us.
Up to 75% of human infectious diseases originates in animals. And as more bushmeat is brought into our cities, the risk of human infectious disease outbreaks increases. Ebola, monkeypox, Lassa fever, yellow fever, and even COVID-19 may have been transmitted in this way. Illegal bushmeat trade not only endangers our wildlife, but affects our health and may damage our economy. So please, say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild and keep us safe.
All right, thank you for sticking with us. We head straight to the papers now. And of course, Ladi Jalabi is there, you know, for today's review of the papers. And this is the third time we're having you for this week. Thank you for being consistent. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi.
Happy weekend to you.
Good morning, Evelyn. How you
All
doing?
right, what's going on? The way we see it around here, you are franking your face. What is the matter with you? Better days ahead, brother.
Well,
Yeah.
we hope there is, you know, they've been saying it, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we hope we all should just hold our touchlights. The revelations coming out of the National Assembly, every Nigerians at this stage must get angry. Those people
right.
don't like us.
Okay, we start with the Nation newspaper. Many headlines trying to do justice to it very quickly. House kicks over NAFDAC's ban on alcoholic drinks in sachet. Okay, House kicks over NAFDAC's ban on alcoholic drinks in sachet. And federal government eases access to student loan in new proposal. And with riders, guarantors, parents' debt, other hurdles cleared, false information is felony. Bill scales second reading. And the highlights are 1% of collectible, we have a lot to talk about. If you need that detail, please pick up a copy of The Nation. And NSA service chiefs, North governance, strategize on security. EU, bad counter. Okay, let me move on from that. Labour plan showdown with states not paying wage award. Only 14 states complying. Rivers paying 30,000, Kwara and Gombe are paying 10,000. Kerry, Port Harcourt refinery resumes production in 2 weeks. Federal government insists discos must recapitalize for efficiency. Government remodeling ports to raise standard, says Ohiolei. EFCC uncovers how rear MD chiefs misappropriated 12.4 billion naira. And bottom sweep, undersea cable cuts cripple internet services yesterday. It was quite a tug of war talking about internet service yesterday. An ex-Oyo lawmaker jailed for fraud. And the big one with the picture, Olubadan Oba Mahmoud Olale Kompalogun passes on. We said that earlier. And Ladeje, interesting one here. A Labour plan showdown with states not paying wage award, saying only 14 states comply out of 36. And Rivers paying 30,000, Kwara and Gombe are paying 10,000. Your take on that?
Well, it is what it is. It's funny that when our political leaders want to throw money around for themselves, there is always money. But when it is for the welfare of the people, you hear big grammars, paucity of fund. As a matter of fact, we still see people that use COVID-19 of about 3 or 4 years ago as an excuse. We still see people that use NSAS as an excuse for not doing the needful. It is a shame that, Femi, it's sad to know that even the 30,000 naira minimum wage, this wage award it came into effect after the removal of, the fuel subsidy by the current president, and even the minimum wage that is known to the law that has become whatever. Some states are not paying it yet, and it's sad that these people always find an excuse. That's what gets me angry every time. They find an excuse around this, and you see the same state governors go all out to import SUVs for their lawmakers, for chief judges, for traditional rulers. But when it comes to the welfare of the citizens, you hear them, we are sharing palliatives, and when you check it, 2 Congos of rice, 2 Congos of gari, and maybe a Congo of beans. It's sad. It's sad. And it gets me angry every now I see news like this.
That's what The Nation has for us this morning.
All right, from The Nation, we move on to the Guardian newspaper for today. On the Guardian newspaper, Japa or modern slavery. How UK visa system deportation risk silence exploited care workers. That big story is on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper for today. FG6 New Student Loan Act, jail term for offenders. Kaduna abductors demand 1 billion naira, threaten to kill victims. And a man begs a life jail term for introducing neighbor's daughter to pornography. 2 years after ascension, Olubadan joins ancestors at 82. Retired officers to sue RGP scribe over content of court order. Akpabio threatened over Ningi's suspension as FG dismisses budget pardon claims. That story is on page 6, news page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Internet outage cripples business operations in Nigeria. Others, and IPOB rejects ranching in Southeast, urges governors to defy presidential order. Ladeji, let me quickly take you on insecurity. 1 billion naira, requested by the abductors, by the bandits, for the 287 students kidnapped in Kaduna. And if you remember, also for the students kidnapped in, for those that were kidnapped in Sokoto, 30 trillion naira was asked for. Was it 40 trillion naira, beg your pardon, 40 trillion naira. What is all this ridiculousness? I mean, that's what I'm going to call it at this point.
It shows how unserious we are as a nation. You don't empower terrorists. I won't call them bandits or whatever now. They are terrorists. Because if you look at the characteristics of terrorist organization, this is part of it. Okay. They kidnap for money. All right. And when you empower them too much, they get emboldened. They want to do more. Okay, so if we can ask this way, don't forget, earlier on this year, people were literally raising funds on Twitter for people that were kidnapped in Abuja. People, I've told you about someone that was kidnapped in Pape. Pape is very close to Aso Villa. I don't know if that rings any bell to you, that it is dangerous that people are being kidnapped very close to a presidential villa. That is very dangerous. Abuja is meant to be like the safest place in Nigeria. Yeah. But if people can be kidnapped there, Kaduna is very close to Abuja. People are being kidnapped. Children are being kidnapped. And every time we tell people, be patriotic, pray for Nigeria, love Nigeria, people, it's not possible. A child that saw the way our father and mother was killed in a country that is meant to provide security for her, you can't force patriotism on such a person. A nation build the spirit of patriotism in their people. Now we've now built so much power for these terrorists that they are requesting for billions of naira from the government. It is a shame, and that's one of the many sins of Buhari's regime that I seem not to forgive him for. The fact that you arrest bandits, people that kill, citizens at will. They killed our soldiers. They killed our policemen. They killed many traditional rulers. They destroyed government properties. Yeah. And you will tell me they've repented. You are reintegrating them into the society. It is a shameful thinking for any government in the world. You speak to these people in a language they will understand, which is force. When they see that this government is not joking, they will retract a bit. But when you embolden them, you want them to do more. When you negotiate with them, you see them come out. They even post pictures. Evelyn, I've been asking the question. The Akwa Ibom corps members that were kidnapped in November or about last year. No, I think it was around August or September last year.
I mean, some of them have been released.
Some of them. Why not all? You still have Leah Sharibu in the kidnappers' den. We have all these people, and every now and then you hear repentant Boko Haram members, repentant terrorists. It is a shame.
But the president has said he is not going to negotiate with terrorists. In fact, he said he won't pay a dime.
If you are not paying a dime, what have you taken? We are talking about intelligence. I saw the army spokesperson yesterday saying the people kidnapped, they didn't get the news. If they got the information earlier on, it wouldn't have happened. Then I asked the question, what is your intelligence team doing? We have the Department of Military Intelligence. What are they doing? What is the DSS doing? Again, Evelyn, if someone says anything wrong against the president today, the DSS, the DMI will look for them and pick them up. Why is it that the lives of our people are being wasted every now and then? Villages being destroyed every now and then, and we keep on getting excuse over excuse? What actions have you taken to make sure that people are not kidnapped again? And you are telling us you are not ready to pay ransom. Do the needful instead of making excuses every now and then.
All right. Well spoken, Ladeji. That will be all for The Guardian.
All right. From that, we'll go to the Punch newspaper. Punch needs school attacks. Bandits demand 1 billion naira for 287 pupils. Issue March 27 deadline. Kidnappers called on Tuesday. Gave us 20 days to raise ransom, says community leader. Hostages held in difficult location used as human shield to prevent bombardment. The HQ, that's the defense headquarters, and of course they mend them, as we want to refer them, the pictures we have them making prayers, somewhere. And that's the president, his vice, many governors with him, and then at a dinner. Moving on, politics over. It is time for governance. Tinubu tells governors at Iftar, maybe when they went to breakfast with with the president. Nigeria leads as ECOWAS members default on 150 judgment. Many injured, 18 arrested as youths attack Ogumanak. Amotekun heightened security in Ocean boundary communities. Senate reviews 30 trillion naira loan documents, summons CBN officials, Facebook, Netflix, Google, others pay 3.2 trillion naira tax, MBS. Sound that's good news. Porako refineries get 450,000 barrels crude, resumes operations. April, okay, of taking some of these concerns, Evelyn.
All right, from the Punch, let us add on to a Nigerian Tribune at this time. Nigerian Tribune, insecurity. NSA security chiefs, northern governors meet. Military working with foreign partners to rescue abducted citizens. That's coming from the DHQ. And lawmakers have no business with constituency projects, Akintola says. FG sets aside 100 billion naira for consumer credit in 2024 budget, Bagudu, and Tinubu transmits student loan bill to reps. Away from that, international, I'm trying to get that. Undersea cables in West East Africa damaged, internet services, banking affected. Alleged budget pardon, Atiku demands immediate probe. Police recover body part of murdered Rivers DPO 6 months after. And Port Harcourt refinery to begin production in 2 weeks. Kiari says 450,000 barrels of crude delivered. Crude oil production increases in Nigeria, Libya. That's according to OPEC. And let's look at the top corner, the top strip, of course, talking about the demise of Oba Balogun, Lekan Balogun, the Olubadan of Ibadan, as it joins his ancestors. That's all from Nigerian Tribune at this time. But then, Ladeji, if you can do this in 1 minute, alleged budget pardon, Atiku demands immediate probe. We can see that even the opposition PDP have also reacted to this allegation brought up by Senator Abdul Nengi of Bauchi State. I'll just like to take your reaction very quickly.
Well, that's the best thing. Every right-thinking Nigerians are requesting that they should do a proper probe. Budgets have done a detailed analysis of this. If you watch Channels TV yesterday, they did something similar. You see terrible things, terrible revelations, from this, our budget. Evelyn, it will shock you to know that our senators want to spend 180-something million naira to sink a borehole. A borehole. A borehole. Even if you are giving the contract to one of the biggest construction companies in the world, I don't think that is worth it. See, every now and then, sincerely yours, when you read the way these people throw money around, you get angry by the day. We need to, beyond the, you saw the man that was also making the revelation at the floor of the Senate that day. I've forgotten his name. I said,
Jerry
all of us are culpable in this. Senators are collecting 500 million. Why did his mic went off when he was making a submission? And immediately after he said, that is my submission, the mic came back. These people should stop running this country like a cult group. But, you are busy sharing this money, you are living fat. I'm saying it again, right. Evelyn, when the time comes, when people don't have anything to eat, they will return to them for them to become free. Ladeji,
very quickly, isn't it worrisome that it took Senator Abdul Nengi's revelation for us to see all of this? Yeah. People might be concerned as to, okay, what if Senator Nengi didn't say anything? Who exactly, or what institution exactly is supposed to be responsible for scrutinizing properly, thoroughly, the budget? Because if Senator Nengi hadn't said anything, it would be business as usual.
Well, of course, yes. It's coming as a surprise to a couple of people. For some of us, if you are in the civil society space a little bit, you get, maybe that's why I get more angry most especially when you talk about these people in the National Assembly. Yes, they have an oversight, responsibility to look at the implementation of this budget. Yeah. But, it is like you are keeping your meat, your fried meat, with these rat or cats. Apparently,
Are you talking about the CSOs?
No, I'm not talking about the CSOs. I'm talking about the National Assembly. Now, they have the oversight responsibility to look at, okay, this thing will budget for this particular. But many of them, their interest is, how do you bring more of these things to my constituency bring more money, say you are bringing more money into my constituency, and they do whatever they like because nobody is checking them. Nobody, many of the civil societies that are even meant to check them, some of them have become cowboy. That is why you see in the budget for Akpabio, his constituency, you see 2.5 billion naira budgeted for deep freezers. 2.5 billion naira budgeted. I can tell you for free that out of that 2 billion, say they want to empower, and it is sad that in Nigeria is where we use deep freezer to empower our women.
All right.
You know, it is sad we use Okada to empower our youth. Even a certain governor in Nigeria has empowered youth with wheelbarrow. These are people that you see on the street and you want to handle them one-on-one.
All right, we might have to get that meaning after the show.
No, of course, yes,
but then thank you so much, Ladeji Alabi, for coming on the show.
That's all the night out, actually. But you get angry now and then. What makes sense with you empowering youth with wheelbarrow and shovel? Okay. What do you want them to do?
Thank you, Ladeji, for your take.
Ladeji is in the risk of sounding like Lasisi right now.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate
it's always
you
a pleasure. It's always, we hope Nigeria get better one day so that the rate at which we complain about these things every day gets reduced and we have a saner society. That's just the goal.
All right, have for yourself a lovely weekend.
And you too.
And you people, it's time for the conversation, but that will be after this break. We will be looking at critical issues affecting our country. Do not go anywhere. Morning Spring, we'll be right back.
All right, the conversation right now, it's about the unfolding situation at the National Assembly, especially the Nigerian Senate, and where the center has not been holding. I'm not sure it will hold in, at least in the next couple of days. It started when Senator Abdul Ningi, a senator representing Bauchi Central, granted an interview. And what is said at that interview has got many senators, angry and upset because he talked about something that's reminiscent of budget party, and he alleged that maybe, as it is, the nation is running two budgets. The federal government came out to say that's not true. We only have one budget, and if there are improprieties or something untoward in the running, at implementation or the way the budget was even packaged, it should be treated. But there is only one budget. The Nigerian Senate, held, and 2 days ago at the plenary, at their meeting rather, the plenary, they suspended him because they felt it was just being a rabble-rouser. There is nothing to really, what he was saying was actually not true. It's not like a budget party. And many of them felt, why, if you had issues, you and your Northern Senators Forum, if you have issues with this, why not converse with the House firstly? Why grant an interview to throw the Nigerian Senate, the hallowed chamber, under the bus? And they have become object of ridicule and, insult by the people. He got suspended for 3 months. It wouldn't be paid. It should not be seen around the National Assembly because it has brought disrepute to the House. And if he's able, to apologize properly, it might be considered. But then the matter is beyond that. After that, we have been hearing and seeing revelations upon revelation that maybe the ambiguity in the figures and the numbers of project, the figures attached to it, the responsibility given to some agencies of the government, even schools, these are some of the issues that we have been seeing. Many persons are saying, maybe, thank God, Senator Ningi talked about these. Many persons, they were a bit doubtful of the intention of Senator Ningi himself. Was he fighting for the masses? Did he speak up because he felt or is feeling that the northern, part of the country has been left out of these things? We have been talking about this matter, but, to take it forward to this morning, we have a public affairs analyst join us in the studio, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Very quickly, the conversation has moved, from over the weekend, and many things has happened. We've seen figures, statistics, what do you make of the entire conversation? We'd like to work very fastly this morning because we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The conversation is first ridiculous. This is not the first time. It means we have not learned any lesson over the years. I recall 2008, President Yar'Adua, late President Yara, refused to sign the budget because of these similar issues. People will just put figures in the budget in the National Assembly without due diligence, and then you start seeing figures that have not been painstakingly, investigated and put accounting figures that are genuine. They just put figures. And then the president refused that time to sign the budget. They later resolved it. During the Buhari presidency, you recall, I think once or twice too, Buhari himself refused to sign the budget. That they increased the figures, they put projects that were not actually, they can't account for, and then they put some for the executive approval. So this is not the first time. I think the value of what Ningi did is for us to review our budgeting system. What has come out after Ningi's pronouncement become more ridiculous because we have now seen that it's just sharing of money. And then the National Assembly will sit down and put projects in the budget that cannot be properly accounted for. You don't just put projects in the budget. Look, when a budget is being prepared, when I was in the presidency, we used to involve the centers of excellence, economists, administrators, and the rest of them, project engineers, and then they will look at the details. If you want to construct a road from here to Lagos, how much will it cost? And then people will, before they put it in the budget. So that due diligence will be done. But if you look at this budget, you see all sorts of things there. For instance, you see figures, block figures. Construction of road from here to here, 20 billion. Construction of road from here to there, 30 billion. Construction of this from there to there, 200 billion. And then you see infractions, like Ministry of Agriculture constructing and renovating classrooms. I don't know where that comes in. And then about 100 million for that. And then you see figures of 1.2 million naira for uncompleted project before they want to complete 1.2 million. Which road will you want to construct now? That will cost you about 1.2 or 1.4 million. That is that. And then you see all these infractions. They put projects that nobody has actually investigated how much it will cost, how much government is supposed to pay, how long it will take to construct it. They put it in block figures in the budget. And I was so amazed and surprised that the president signed that budget. I never expected the president to sign the budget. I expect him to query it, and then they call themselves together and have a discussion. So what Ningi did, the value of what he did, was that he alerted the nation about what they are doing. From that alertment, we have seen now that the shares of money, 500 million to some people, 200 million. Somebody said he received 266 million. At least the figures are coming. I listened to the...
They said it's for his constituents.
He said, I'm coming. I listened to the Senate...
Not really to him as a person.
To the Senate Chief yesterday. He said, yes, they received money. And then his constituency project. And then he said that this constituency project they received, can't be equal. That he received more than the others. That all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. He even gave an example of telling us that they do it in U.S. Yes, they do it in U.S. But he didn't tell us the fact that in the U.S., what they call projects that they use to parole when they pay in their projects, for about 10 years has been suspended because of corruption. And then you can't even go beyond 1% of whatever is given to you. But even if you should copy, can't we copy good things? Now, you give them constituency. They are talking of constituency project now. One senator again told us that it is regionalized. And in this regionalizing thing, what they do is that a state that has 5 states, they give all the region the same figure. That's coming from a senator. And then when you give them the same figure, it means that a senator from a state that has only five states, a region with 5 states, we have more than a senator that is from a region that has about 7 states. So why somebody is receiving 266 million, another person may receive 100 and something million. That is that.
Doctor, sorry, because you have to cut in. We are still going to your area of jurisdiction about education, but then we have to say these quickly. One will say, and that's the grasp of many senators against Ningi, that when you have found these out, you and your group, because he was the former chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, why didn't you approach the House? Firstly, that's normal thing to do, that if somebody is to be working in a place and you are part of them and you realize something is wrong, it is the first thing for you to seek internal mechanism of addressing those things. Why go to the press to appear like the righteous one? It's just a rabble rouser. Do you think it did wrong, that place? Why not speak to the leadership firstly before throwing the whole of the House under the bus?
What he did has some value. I wouldn't see anything wrong in what he has done.
But is it proper?
Why should some people keep a national budget secret? What is the secrecy in the budget that concerns all of us?
Is it secret?
Yes.
It's a public document.
If you say it's a public document, what we are privy to know is 25 trillion, 0.1. And then somebody came out to tell us it's 28 point something trillion.
But
the chairman of appropriation,
the president signed 28.
The chairman of the appropriation committee, Senator Adeola Yayi or something, sorry, Senator Lai, said that, look, they have other statutory, extrajudicial, something that has to do with INEC, National Assembly, judiciary, that they didn't actually put that as part of what the president signed, but it has been approved. Why should we not know all those? Must the budget be kept in secrecy? Look, this is a national budget that we should know what is in the budget. Everything should be made clear. The details of the budget is in the devil, and they should allow us to know all the details. And it is not allowing us to know all the details that Ningi talk. And you know why they are talking? It's because some of them felt cheated. As a ranking member of the Senate, some people felt they have been given, they have not been given enough money like others. And the Senate chief clerk lent credence to that yesterday when he said all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And again, ask yourself, let us ask ourselves, what is the constituency project? What constituency project? I saw a lot of things. They will be distributing machine, they will be distributing grinding machine, they will be distributing Okada, they will be distributing wheelbarrow, they will be distributing also, say they give rise to a group of people, and when they share it, you get something that is not up to 1/4 of a mudu. Is that the constituency project work? They will be doing borehole, and then why should they turn themselves to contractors? Is that the way to do it? So I'm recommending that, look, this controversy has been on for a long time. It is time for Nigeria to have a budget summit so that we can address this issue, we can talk to ourselves, we can advise the National Assembly on what to do so that this controversy will stop. Because a situation where, because you are in National Assembly, you said a road should be constructed from here because it's your constituency to another place, because you are a ranking member of the National Assembly, without due diligence. What is the cost of the road? Then you don't know. Then you just pay 20 billion. Is that a budget? That is wrong. And those are the things we are saying, that no nation can be doing that and develop properly. So Ningi's argument, the value in what Ningi has done is to raise the alarm to the to national conversation that it has become now. And the National Assembly is there to see that. You see that, you know, they have become off microphone National Assembly. Because when somebody is talking about 500 million, they off the mic. They don't want us to know. This national budget should not be kept in secrecy. Should be open to all.
Doctor, now I'd want to talk on, of course, Senator Ningi is not the first lawmaker to be suspended. We've had, Senator Arthur Nzeribe suspended. Also, what happened, almost happened to Senator Shehu Sani when he made that revelation about their own remuneration, and he said it took the intervention of the Senate President then to, not allow him to be suspended. But then, when such a thing like this happens, what is the future for our country whenever a lawmaker says something, makes a revelation, the next line of action is for him to be victimized, is for him to be suspended? I mean, in a normal, I don't know what operates in this, in the Senate, in the red chamber, but then people are saying when someone makes a revelation as this, the next line of action should not be suspension for that person.
Yes, it should not be. The next line of action should be proper investigation, which they jettisoned. They knew they should investigate, and they didn't want anybody to know. That was why they quickly met and unanimously suspended. We have a National Assembly that the only time they agree is when they want to cheat Nigerians, when they want to share money. They will all agree. I give you an example of the 160 million naira SUV. You see no party opposed it. None. Even the Labour Party, that their presidential candidate is, going around saying is prudent, is this, is that. They didn't. They see that there is sense in using an SUV of 160 million.
It's not official.
At this level,
vehicle.
they can get the other official cars they can use that is not as costly as 160 million naira for one person. Now, like I'm just using that as an example for you to know that when it is time for them to share our commonwealth, they will always agree. Suspending Ningi is because they know that Ningi wants to reveal what they don't want the public to know. The first thing they are supposed to do is to set up a committee to investigate what I say, and then after investigating it, see whether there is sense in what he's saying or not before you can now pronounce punishment based on the report of the committee. They didn't do that. I think Ningi has an opportunity to approach the court, to tell the court what happened so that the court can intervene in this kind of matter. Like I said, it has been a recurring issue. Anytime any senator wanted to say something about their earnings, they quickly threatened him with suspension. I remember Senator Adeyeye. Now, Adeyeye made a statement sometime, they say, how much do you want? He wanted to reel out the figure. Yeah, reel out part of it. They have to do some underground work before he was not suspended. Because they don't want, as we talk now, we don't know how much they earn. We don't know how much allowances they earn. That is improper. This is a country, this is a sovereign state. Public officer salary should be made known to everybody. Why is their own secret? They will sit down and approve juicy allowances for themselves. I don't want Nigerians to know. Look at when they say we pay some prayers to your... it's from the Senate president. Right. How much? Till tomorrow, we don't know. So what they did was wrong to Ningi. And Ningi, since they didn't... I don't know what their rule says in that area, but I know any responsible National Assembly, once there is an allegation, the next step is investigation. Right. And after investigation, you can either punish or forgive. Right. And if you don't do that, if the man feels he has been suspended on just days, you approach the courts. The courts are there to intervene in this kind of matter. They have even put the judiciary into it that they gave some money to the judiciary they don't want to disclose because it's falling into the first line charge. That is ridiculous. We should know everything. So
how also do you react to that disclosure made by Senator Oluyemi Omotosho saying that it's a ploy, it's a plot to actually unstabilize or destabilize the leadership of Senate President Godswill Akpabio, that it's more of a war between the North and the South? Well, you know that the last person from the South who occupied that position is about 40 years away. So he's occupying a very sensitive position. That position is political. We all know. We should be thanking God that their disagreement is allowing Nigerians to know what they are doing. Why should they be doing everything secretly? It's our money. It is not their money. The senator that came out yesterday and said, yeah, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than not. That is ridiculous. This is National Assembly. This is national money. This is our commonwealth. Whether it is to rock the boat of the leadership of the National Assembly or not, I'm less concerned about that. I thank the man for revealing what they are doing. How would you have known they took 266 million or 500 million? Now, which constituency project do you see here now? Don't we have a senator? How many of them are performing? And what are they doing with the money? They will do that for 4 years and they will leave after taking the money, and then they will not do anything and nobody will be around to checkmate them. Now, what is the work of the National Assembly? The work of the National Assembly is to serve as an oversight to the executive. Are they doing that when they are colluding with them? Mind you, immediately after this argument, after this controversy, what the Senate President did was to take the leadership and some members of the National Assembly to the President. And I have said here now this morning that I am really surprised the president signed such a budget that is, full of mistakes, so full of infractions, full of things that they follow due diligence. And you still sign it. I've given you an example. Yeah. What is 100 million naira doing in Ministry of Agri? Did they to renovate schools? Do they have schools? Does that not fall under Ministry of Education? Or maybe it's to train some people to do food security. I don't really understand. But it's just ridiculous. You see so many figures. You see figures in that budget up to the tune of 25 billion to buy refrigerators, to buy deep freezers in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Who are the people using the refrigerator? And don't they have refrigerators? And even if you must buy refrigerators, is it for the whole country that you will not buy 25 billion?
All right. All right, it's an unfolding. I call it an
The
unfolding
suggestion I've made here should be taken seriously. We should call a national budget on budget. You know, and let us discuss, you know, our national budget, how it should be packaged, how it should be done, so that this parting of a thing that both the National Assembly and the public are confused about, we can iron it out, and everybody can know its duty, both the executive and the National Assembly, so that we know where we are going. They are not doing any budgeting, they are just writing figures.
Dr. Omotosho, by the way, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, spoke on the matter yesterday to say there is nothing fishy about it. There are some things that just need to be considered. But, you know, for the want of time, let's switch gears to the student loan, promise by the federal government. I could see you giggling already. You know, yesterday we learned the bill has been resent to the National Assembly for repealing, you know, to do some things and accommodate some things. We learned, you know, there was this prerequisite that you must have for you to, requirement that you must fulfill before you could have access to that. By the way, we are seeing some highlights this morning. We're hearing that guarantors and parents' debt, orders hurdles are being cleared, because if your parents are owing, or, you know, the salary scale of your parents, all of those things are no more there. So the highlights, as reported by the Nation this morning, saying 1% of collectible taxes to fund program, talking about this funding, establishment of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, loan available for tuition, upkeep only. So it's about tuition and upkeep. No rent, no books, no whatever. Just pay your school fees. You can sort for the others, by the way. Removal of family income threshold condition. Forced declaration attract 3 years in jail. Loan repayment forgiveness in case of death of beneficiary. What's your take on this?
Well,
by the way, is it a good call, by the way, to start with?
Well, any loan, any monetary benefits that will go to students in a country like Nigeria, a third country like Nigeria, is acceptable, because there's poverty here, and students can't cope. But as good as the policy is, and characteristics of the Tinubu administration, they just always put the cart before the horse, and it is wrong. The bill they brought out before were full of challenges that they have just seen it now. And I congratulate them for resending it to the National Assembly, because there is no way that initial bill can work. And it does not even allow you to give the loan to the student easily. You talk of tuition now. Tuition is free in all federal institutions in Nigeria. So if you say you are paying tuition, how much? It's not true. What students do in our schools now is the other fees they pay. Tuition is free. Any institution that charges tuition, the vice chancellor and the management will be instantly suspended. Federal government, even though they don't have the capacity, they feel that, look, they are telling the whole world tuition is free in Nigeria, when actually it is not like that. The other bills they pay. So the bill is full of challenges. You put directors there, 2 directors, including a lawyer, must sign before you can access the loan. Even to access the loan with that old bill is difficult for the student. And that is why they can't implement it up till now. So I'm happy they have looked at it critically. There are about 15 items in the old bill that really need to be reviewed. And I think they are reviewing them to send it back to the National Assembly so that it can be easy for the student to access the loan. Even the idea of taking somebody to court, you can only take a corporate organization personality to court. The old bill does not allow it. And again, even the student that you say to allow access the bill doesn't have the means to access the bill, because you have to access some people. Your parents must have not less than 500,000 naira before you can be qualified for it. And so many of them, you know, are not qualified on that grant. So with the old bill, so many students will not be able to access the loan. And so reorganizing it, reviewing it is the best decision so far. But as for the loan, Nigerian students need loan. If government can do that, that will be nice. It will be, if it will get to the students, it will be very, very nice. Because I tell you, students are suffering. I was doing student affairs, and I knew what I went through. Students can't afford food, they can't afford textbook. They use all sorts of means to make sure they complete their course, including antisocial means. And that is because of poverty. So if you are giving them a reasonable amount per annum, you know, or per session, it will be good it's acceptable, it is nice. But the bill should be worked out properly so that nobody is cheated.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Now let's look at this. The students in diaspora have also requested to be included in this student loan scheme, saying that they are also Nigerians and wherever it is they are in the world, they are ambassadors of the nation, and what they are studying, or, you know, going for their education is also to come back, you know, and deposit all that they have, you know, been able to build themselves with back into Nigeria. Do you think it's feasible for international students, I mean students outside of the country, to be included in this scheme?
You've answered the question. They are Nigerians. If they are Nigerians and we know they are Nigerians, why can't we take good care of them? Some of them went abroad to read, you know, out of serious, you know, financial constraints. So if they are assisted, it is good. Look, when Libya was under Gaddafi, all foreign students are given money. And then they are paid in dollars. They pay your school fees there. They give you work when you come back. Even in this Nigeria, are you aware that all my colleagues in all tertiary institutions, once you access an institution abroad, government will pay for that degree you want to go and collect, maybe a second degree or a third degree. They will pay for it, and they will still be paying your salary here. I'm one of those people who feel that, you know, courses that we should pursue abroad should be courses that are not available here. Because the amount of money Nigeria is even spending, you know, sponsoring Nigerian workers, lecturers, you know, working in tertiary institutions abroad. It's a lot to renovate the existing institutions in Nigeria.
But Doctor, you don't consider this as importation? I mean, if we sponsor students outside of the country who are studying outside of Nigeria, it means we are investing into the economies of these countries, and we are talking about more exportation than importation. We should be. You don't think we should be focused more on our own institutions?
That's where they should streamline it. I just told you now that courses that are available here shouldn't be pursued abroad. So if you see a student that is doing dermatology, if you know only one university is doing dermatology in Nigeria and the output is low, you can send some people, and some people can tell you they want to go and read that course. You can assist such people. But for a course that is available here, you can advise the student, if you go for this course abroad, Nigeria will not help you. Fine. But if you go for the following courses, Nigeria will be able to assist you. So such students will look for institutions here that can do those courses so that government can assist them. They should streamline it, but there are some students that really need assistance abroad. But I agree that, you know, we should not make it a straitjacket for everybody. There are courses, even like the tertiary institution courses I mentioned. TEFON has reviewed it now. There are courses now you can pursue abroad because they are available here. And if you want to pursue some courses abroad, you are on your own. So the same thing. If there are courses that Nigerians desperately need, professional Nigerians desperately need, and the students say you want to go and study it abroad, there is nothing bad in assisting such a student. But for courses that are available here, why do you go abroad to go and read it? And then most of the schools they even go to, some institutions here are better than them. So why can't you assess Nigeria first before going abroad? So I agree with you. But there are students abroad who need assistance. Right. Some students should be screened. They should look at their courses in particular and see how they can assist them. For instance, look at our medical students. Our medical students, they are good. There are so many universities here that are producing medical doctors that are good. That's why the foreign countries are accepting them, nurses and the rest of them. So if you want to read medicine, you can read medicine here. You don't need to go abroad. And if you read medicine here, government will assist you. You want to go and read medicine in Ukraine when you are on your own. Because the course is available here.
So if the government should assist you in reading medicine here, what happens to someone that says, I want to go outside of the country to practice? Is that morally wrong?
Look, to practice outside the country is a humanitarian right.
After the government have helped you,
do you know what happens? What we do is you sign a bond that immediately you complete your course, you will work, you will return, you will work here for some time, and then before you can go. You can't make it forever. You know, you can say work for 2 years, work for 5 years before you can access other means. Any Nigerian who wants to go abroad should be free to go abroad. It's a free world, and then you can't stop him. But if government has sponsored you, and you feel that, like, yes, I want to go back and work abroad, you must, to satisfy your bond first, and what the government has done for you, you must pay back a bit, must do a little. You know, all this insecurity we are having in Nigeria is ridiculous to the extent that You know, there are some people who are desperate to travel on their own. And government shouldn't allow them, if he's going for a genuine cause, they should allow him to go. And if he sponsors himself, he likes, anywhere he likes in the world, he can work there. And that will be good. But for you to say you have graduated, you can't work anywhere you like, you can work anywhere you like. You can give conditions that can make you, that can benefit the government. But that you put a blanket ban on that nobody can travel. People can travel, and then, but put a bond. You sign a bond. Once you sign a bond, if government is sponsoring you, you must satisfy that bond. And after that bond, you are free to go anywhere. And then, you know, people are free to come to Nigeria too. It's only the economy that has become so bad. When I was in secondary school, it was Indians that were teaching us economics, you know, and they were good. Some of them were teaching us mathematics. Some of our lecturers are from England, Germany, and the rest of them. Again, you see students from foreign students coming to write our JAM. Because the economy has been bastardized now, nobody is doing that again. You will not even see any foreign student, talk less of foreign teachers. Insecurity has caused a lot of problems. And the pronouncement of our politicians is causing more problems. Look at Osun State now. The government raised a security alarm 2 days ago. I think you are aware of that. And when they raise that security alarm, I expect all stakeholders to cooperate with the governor to find solution to that security alarm. What do we hear from the opposition? Very reckless and unacceptable statement that is just raising an unnecessary alarm without actually confirming from the security agency. The governor said he's calling security agency to a council meeting to discuss the alarm. And the opposition is saying it's not proper without any basis. That is not good. Those are the things foreign people see, and they don't come here. They are afraid. You know, how do you come here? They just hijack you on the street, and nobody is talking about you again. Right. That is wrong. So our pronouncement, our dictate, what government is doing is important. But you can't put a blanket ban on anybody who wants to go abroad to do whatever he or she likes if it is legitimate. That is one. And two, if there is somebody you are sponsored, let him sign a bond. Let him obey the bond.
All right. You know, before we just round off on this one, the student loan bill, still talking about it, loan repayment for forgiveness in case of death of beneficiary and forced declaration attract 3 years in jail. You know, many persons of good conscience will say it's a good move if actually all these highlights are done well and properly and the bottlenecks are not too, you know, are removed. But Doctor, we know ourselves as Nigerians. Normally, you as a person, you give somebody a loan or a loan facility, and you know there are some scrupulous elements that which you will never ask again. Some of them don't want to pay back. Do we have the data to follow up so that people will not see this as, it's my time to collect my own share of the cake? Yeah. Because that's anything that has to do with the government. Dr. Omotosho, you reckon that people just feel it is free. Now my time to take my share with this one.
It is because of what you have said now. That was why bursary was free. I received bursary from Ondo State. And when Ajayi didn't want to pay us, we went from Lagos to Akure with bags of, you know, pieces of papers. And when he allowed us to enter his office, we littered the place. He paid us the second day. You know, it was free because they knew they don't have data. And then all the data you have is the one they give you in the school, by the registrar and whoever, that these are our students. And they pay us and we're happy. Because we don't have data, does not actually still prevent us. Government should be working on how to have proper data. Data for vulnerable people, data for students, data for everybody. I tell you today, you'll be shocked about this, that this is one of the few countries in the world that does not know its population. It's unfortunate. A country that does not know its population can plan. Now, the population we are using is from IMF and World Bank. That is ridiculous. So if you don't have data, how do you actually carry out your activity? That is why former Vice President Osinbajo could go to the market and tell us he's distributing cash money to money traders without knowing them. That's fraud. The same thing, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, that's what they've been doing. They just give money to people you can't know. In advanced crimes, what you see is that the data is there, and they pay you based on the data. They even have the data of those who are not working. And immediately you get a job, you know, you move out of that
Dr.
list.
Omotosho, are you saying the school should be the one that should give the government the data?
The government should make
the
sure
government
that
should pay straight to the school.
part of that review they are doing to include a situation whereby the data of students are clearly known in all institutions. So they know whom they are paying, they know who guaranteed them, they know how they can get their money back. And they say you can get your money back after NYC, 2 years after. As for somebody, what for somebody who is not working? Those are part of the challenges in the old bill. You say 2 years after, you must pay back. And the person has graduated, is not working.
Are you saying the money, the funds should go straight to the school?
No, the funds should go to the student.
The individual should not be the one to receive
the laws guiding it, about those who are qualified for it, about their background, about their guarantors, and the rest of it.
Doctor, I'm
coming to a point.
I'm asking you this because some will feel there is tendency for some people to mismanage the fund. If they are given, that's why they want to buy things that are not necessary. Why not pay straight to the school?
That
in
is,
as much as
that is characteristics of Nigeria. The school you are talking about too is corrupt. All legalom of Nigerian system is corrupt. I can tell you for free.
Somebody must do something.
Oh, by the way, we said somebody must do something in INEC. You know what? You see what they did? We gave them 305 billion naira and they came out. You know, the consequence was glitches. And then we didn't have a good election. After giving, the president didn't blink an eye before signing those monies for INEC. What did we get from Mahmoud? Rubbish. Complete rubbish, because you know the most important election was bastardized, and he based it on glitches. So there is corruption in all agencies of government. We know that, but government can do a little. We can start from a particular end, tighten all the notes, and make sure that you know those who are taking your loan. You know when they will pay back. You know how they will pay back. And let me tell you, the poverty situation in Nigeria will not even allow most of the students to be able to pay. Because when you graduate, are you sure of getting a job? If you have not got a job, who is the person that will tell you to pay a loan? Are you going to swear your father's house to pay? Those are the things they want to correct in the old bill. That's why they are sending a review.
Do you think this scheme will fly? Like
yes,
successful?
the way I
because
personally...
it appears you're already second-guessing it, Doctor.
Yeah, personally, if I am... It's supposed to fly because it's money, and the student needs money. But if I'm in government, honestly, this money should be given free. A particular figure that is government can sustain is what they should be giving Nigerian students.
Not a loan.
Not a loan. What is a loan? Look, the money they steal. Okay, the IPPIS man. Out of our money, they set up IPPIS. Before we know it, about 198 billion naira was mismanaged. That amount can pay can pay Nigerian students more than 5 years. And then somebody has mismanaged it. He was healthy. He was okay. When they started dragging him to court, suddenly he became sick. So that is Nigeria. What they are mismanaging, the corruption, if they can block leakages and sharp practices, Nigeria can afford to pay Nigerian students money. I mean, give Nigerian students free money for their education.
Well, no, Doctor, we have many.
There are many. That's why I say you should determine what you can sustain. Let me tell you, there are students I gave 500 naira. They want to travel from, Ede to Ife. He has no transport money. That was then. I don't know how much. I think Ife is about 1,000 plus now. Now, he doesn't have that transport money. The next thing you see her doing is to be looking for boys who can service her and give her that kind of money. All those antisocial things will be out. So if government has a determined figure that is not so much, even if it is 10,000, you know, and you are giving them, they know they are benefiting from their government. Don't give a loan, you know you can't pay. Even in America, President Biden just wrote off some of the loans given to some students because they couldn't pay. If a country like US couldn't pay, you can imagine what is going to happen in Nigeria. So why can't government do what is sustainable, what you feel is reasonable? There are some students, you give just 3,000, they are happy. There are some students, if it is 5,000 you can do, if it is 10,000, if it's 20, give what you can afford to existing students. And then, you know, once you have given it, forget it. There is no wish loan for somebody who has not even started work and for somebody who is not sure of getting a job. How many of your colleagues that you graduate together are working now?
All right, so Doctor, are you saying that the government should categorize these loans? I mean, different loans for different categories of students. Is that what you're saying?
I am just saying, because you know, when government says...
People might want to also fault that.
When government say they are broke, they are broke. I'm one of those who believe Nigerian government is not broke. This country is very rich. It is the sharp practices and leakages and corruption that is taking away our money. If those things are blocked, and then Nigeria is going to have surplus. So I'm not advocating for any loan. I'm advocating for a particular amount of money government can give to assist Nigerian students, no matter where they come from. Even if it's a child of a millionaire, give him the amount. He will know that he benefited from his government, and that will make him patriotic. But you give a loan that 90% of the people can pay. Because I tell you, where I teach, at least I know you, I know Federal Police. If you give a loan to students, those who can pay back are not up to 3%. And in that 3%, some will default one way or the other.
Is it because of capacity that they can't pay back, or just the mentality that this is mine?
Two factors. Poverty is the #1 factor. Some can't afford to pay. Their parents can't afford. I have students that you call their parents, we are on holiday. Your child is still not at home. Say, oh, guy, go one bed. Let her day there. Because they feel that if he's in school, it's even better. They can't feed him or her at home. So there are people like that, and they need the money. 2, there are people who are mischievous. I can't run away from that. Who will take the loan, they have the capacity to pay, but they don't want to pay. But why can't government determine what they can afford? All this money they are giving to senators, they are giving to infractions here and there, the constituency project we are not going to see. Like I just give you an example of IPPIS now. What that man stole alone is enough to give Nigerian students some 10,000 per student for the next 5 years. And it will still remain. So why this infraction? When it comes to the poor people, assisting the poor people, government will tell us there is no money. When it comes to big men, they will say there is money. When they wanted to buy SUV, nobody complained there was no money. So for you,
this is misplaced priority?
It's misplaced priority by saying that students need money, but not loan. What students need is money like bursary. Look, some government pay bursary in this country. Yes. State pay bursary. Are you telling me Osun State can pay a student some amount of money, even if it's 3,000? That we are giving you this, so don't mind the amount.
But that won't do anything. Some of these things we call bursary, doctor, 10,000, 15,000. For somebody's, studying a course that he or she is paying 200,000, 250,000.
It will be
what will 10,000, what will 5,000 do?
It will be categorized. That is 1. 2, it will help. I'm telling you that if you see the poverty in the institution, you will weep for some of the students. That if they see 2,000, they will jump to it. Give somebody something. Don't mind the amount, but the law behind it from your government, it will make them patriotic. No. Again, facilities are not in this institution. If facilities are there fully, they will not be charging them. Somebody was saying that an average medical student, to complete his course, we need about 200,000 or 500,000 naira, and the government doesn't have that. So they want to charge the student. Now, when you are training a soldier, do you know how much is it to train a soldier to a captain alone? And then government will provide that free of charge. So why can't you provide money for future leaders whom you know that can become anything in future and assist your country? It's just misplaced priority. If it is loan they want to give, they should do the law very well. But loan, I'm not advocating for a loan. I'm advocating
because of the capacity
to pay back and because of the poverty level in the country.
Doctor, as a round off, the intention, according to the handlers of this scheme, is to give every young people opportunity for education so that the government will support them, pay their tuition, do few things, and they have a shot at education. But somebody ab initio that can't even pay, that is brilliant, or she is brilliant, and doesn't even have the tuition to pay, you are saying they should give the person bursary. Look, the person won't even get to school in the first place.
Let me tell you, some of them struggle to enter school. I struggle to enter school. Let me tell you, use myself as an example. In Yabatech, I used to do, during holiday, they would tell us, those who are not going home should write their name. My name, the first name there is always my name. I was an indigent student. I write my name. You know what we do? We will become laborers. Those who are doing construction within the school, we will carry sand, we will fetch water for them, we will help them carry sand and block. They will pay us. Ask me what I use the money to do. The money I secured during that holiday, immediately we resume. I will go and buy my ticket for food. If it remains, I will go and use it to buy low price edition. If I have somebody sponsoring me, will I be doing that? For the 5 years I spent in Yabatech and Unilab, I never go to my town. I was a nobody, and nobody looked for me. In fact, to get to an extent that my friends will be asking, nobody was coming. So if that time, government gave me 2,000 You think I will not be so happy?
All right.
There was no holiday I didn't embark on those domestic wars in school until I became the school president. You know, I became the president of the union. And then at that time, union, they will pay you 400 naira per month. You have access to cash, you have access to so many things, and so many people will be coming to you. That was the only time I didn't do those senior jobs. In fact, they will put a mower. A mower is there. If you can drive a mower, you cut all the grasses, who will pay you? Yes,
Right.
so some students who are that indigent, government knows that. I'm not saying they should do only indigent students. It's everybody. That you even give me 3,000, 10,000 can make me patriotic that this is from my government. I have a classmate, his name is Kadiku. He's working in Lagos now. You know, from Niger State, they used to give him provision. They used to give him, after paying all his fees, they will give him provision. And when his provision comes, he will share it with us. He will give some of us part of the... You know, with that provision, immediately Kadiku graduated, he ran back to Niger State.
All right, it is what it is. This has been quite an engaging one today. Evelyn, we must go.
Yes, we must go. And, you know, Doctor, talking about bursary there, I remember when I was in school, there were oil-producing states, students from oil-producing state that got bursary. I think it was 40,000 at the time. And they know that at the beginning of a session, they are looking forward to 40,000 naira. And we're seeing them as first-class students. I mean, you know, not academic now.
The amount,
Yes, because they had money to go by, and we were like, why didn't our state? It's not an oil-producing state. So I understand where you're coming from. That students have a sense of belonging when they get something from their state.
And then again, these organizations, these oil companies you mentioned, government has to do something. There should be collaboration with them, tertiary institutions around you, secondary schools around you. Take a department, furnish it, equip it, do another one. That will go a long way. All this, they just make all the money and run away with it.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr. Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you in our studios. Thank you for your takes and your thoughts that you have shared with us today.
Thank you
That's
very
right.
much.
And this is where we have this conversation, very deep, frank ones, and it is geared towards having a better and a working nation. Femi Ojo is my name. This is the last one for this week. We'll return, God willing, next week with a bright, you know, something to really be proud of, because Nigeria must prosper. It's a must. It must just prosper, and that's why we have this conversation. Please do well to follow us on all our, you know, social media handles on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube at Western Spring Television. You could have a recap as well, and then for Evelyn to enjoy the rest of her best day. Here we go.
Yes, it's the weekend, so enjoy to have a good time. But in having a good time, join us for the broadcast of Spring Trends right after this particular one. Enjoy.